Democrats sent a letter to Obama reminding the president that Congress must have a say in any deal. Where's the phony outrage about this letter? It is the constitutional role of the Senate to approve treaties, and the deal with Iran is a treaty. But this president doesn't care about following the Constitution, which is one of the arguments against an Article 5 Convention of the States. So, is an unprecedented Article 5 Convention of the States the proper way to repair a broken federal government? Joining me now from Sugar Land, Texas, State Representative Rick Miller. Rick, on a personal level, I am all for an Article 5 Convention of the States. I think it's the safety valve that the framers of the Constitution put in there. However, when people ask me, wait a minute, they're not following the Constitution as it is, we put a new amendment in there, they're not going to follow that. What's the use? I don't know, frankly, how to respond to that. Do you?
Well, it's a very good question. I'm not in Congress. I'm in the Texas legislature. We would listen to that, and we would do something. We listen to the people. And that's what we have to get our congressmen and senators to do in Washington, is listen to the people. And that's where Article 5 comes in very strongly. This is what the people are saying that we need to do. So we just have to, once we do this, if we can get the opportunity to do it, we have to get them to listen to us and to act as we're telling them.
When you talk about the people of Texas, obviously you represent a portion of them. Are they giving you feedback on the Article 5 Convention of the States? Do they even know about this process? Do they know what's going on? Are they engaged?
A large number of people are engaged, and I hear from a lot of people every day. My district is, I would say, is mostly supportive of this, but we're getting more information out to them. And so what we have to combat is that misinformation, that misleading of people about what the Article 5 Amendment Constitution of States will do. The word is, that's being put out there, is this is a constitutional convention, which Article 5 does not lead to. And also the fear of running away, that this convention will run away and actually, rewrite the Constitution. Well, that's not what Article 5, as I read it, that's not what Article 5 does. It's an amendment Constitution.
All right.
Amendment to the Constitution.
Exactly. So let's get specific here. Sometimes we've had this on the program many times, but we seem to run out of time when we don't talk about the specifics about the amendments. And the amendments obviously is open to the conventioneers. Each state maybe could proffer their own ideas, but there's going to be a set of rules that you're going to follow, et cetera. I know that. So let's just kind of cut right to the chase and talk about the possible amendments. One of the big ones out there, of course, is a balanced budget amendment. One of my favorites is term limits, because I used to be a non-believer in term limits. I'm a believer now. I think it should be one term and you're done. Also, repealing the 17th Amendment, which got us into the mess in the Senate that we have now. That's among my favorites. And one I don't hear bandied about is outlaw retroactively all executive orders from the president's office. I feel strongly about that one. I don't see it anywhere in the Constitution. What are your favorites?
Well, you mentioned my favorites in those. Of course, we're fiscally restrained here in Texas. We have a balanced budget, constitutionally directed balanced budget. So we control our spending, we control our debt, and matter of fact, I'm on the Appropriations Committee, and I think we're doing a really good job this year for our next 2-year budget. But I agree with you. In the area of term limits, my focus is more toward our federal judge system, because we appoint people for life. And the more I see of that, the more I don't like with that. And so that's where I would direct my attention. Understand your perspective on one term and you're gone. But most of us here in Texas, we turn over our Texas legislature more often than you would think. In the last 3 sessions, we've turned over half of our Texas House because of various reasons. So, but you mentioned the fiscal restraint. My goodness gracious, with over $18 trillion in debt, we have got to get our fiscal house in order. Several weeks ago, former Senator Coburn was here, and he talked to us about what the possibility is of a financial collapse of our country. He was in the arena. He's telling us the story, and we need to believe him and act on that, and he's a big part of our effort here.
I would also throw in there, on a personal level, repealing the 16th Amendment, but that's another story. The process in Texas, where do you stand right now? How are you getting this done?
Well, I filed the Convention of States HJR resolution. We're We've laid it out in the committee. We've had testimony from the other side that is really subjecting people to fear that this convention will get out of control. I tell them as a 30-year veteran, if fear had gotten in my way, I would have had that first catapult shot or first night landing on the aircraft carrier. If our founders had operated in fear, we wouldn't have our country today. So we have to overcome that line of thinking. And if we don't do something, who is going to do something? And so that's where we are. We're about ready to try to pass it out of that committee, and then it'll come on the House floor, assuming we can get it through our calendar process. And there are a bunch of us who are coming together to make this happen, and it's a work, but we're going to get it done. If not Texas, who? That's our motto. If
That's
not
right.
Texas.
I love that. And Washington won't fix Washington. Representative Miller, thank you for your service. Thank you for your hard work on this, and keep in touch.